Okay. So, muna siya itong topic, no? Understanding the normal curve distribution and the z-scores. So, the probability distribution for a continuous random variable x is bell-shaped curve. The curve is a function of the random variable x and is sometimes called probability density function or probability distribution. So, the probability values under this curve enable us to make probability statements about a random variable. Hence, it is usually used as a model in inferential statistics. Okay? So here we take a look at the normal probability distribution. So this is the curve. So muna pasabot niya sa curve, no? Muna ang probability distribution, guys. As you can see, muna siyang representation of a normal probability distribution. So the distribution curve is bell-shaped. As you can see, bell-shaped muna siya, di ba? Bell-shaped. The curve is symmetrical, but it's about its center or mean. So what does it mean by symmetrical? So ang pasabot aning symmetrical is um it has a mirror-like nga characteristics. So if kung unsa ang curve sa left, mo pud ang curve sa right because it is symmetrical. Okay? And the mean, the median, and the mode coincide at the center. So muna siya ang mean, median, and mode. Nana siya sa pinakatunga. And the width of the curve is determined by the standard deviation of the distribution. So we'll tackle this later lang kani standard deviation na to. And the tails of the curve flatten out indefinitely along the horizontal axis, always approaching the axis but never touching it. So as you can see, muna siya ang tails niya. Kani siya. Ay, wait. Muna ang tails niya, guys. Kani ang tails niya. So, ang tails niya is the approach na siya sa horizontal axis but it is never touching it. Hence, same siya sa asymptotes. Mo-approach siya pero dili siya mag-touch. Okay? So, that is, the curve is asymptotic to the baseline. And the area under the curve is 1. The area under the curve is 1. Thus, it represents the probability or proportion or the percentage associated with specific sets of measurement values. So, ang kanidang area under the curve, kani siya tanan, ang total ano niya kay 1 daw. Okay? Kay mo maning ang represent sa ato ang probability. Say for example, natay probability nga like tossing a coin, di ba? Ato ang probability ana is 50-50, di ba? 50 nga ma-heads, 50 nga ma-tails, nana gani. So, if imo siyang isam, may mo siya 100, di ba? Kay muna ihang chance nga mahitabo. Okay? So, z-score is stated to be a measure of relative standing. So these scores represent distances from the center measured in standard deviation units. So there are 6 z-scores at the baseline or of the normal curve and 3 z-scores to the left of the mean and 3 z-scores to the right of the mean. So kaning z-scores na to, muna siya ang mura siya let's say for example, coordinates if naatay inani nga plane, di ba? As you can see there, naman tay coordinates nga 1, 2, 3 o negative 1, 2, 3, di ba? So we can consider it as our coordinates if we are graphing something. Only that, nag, nag-graph ta ani through using the values of z-scores. So, unsa din ang z-scores? Okay? So, the table of areas under the normal curve is also known as the z-table. And the z-score is a measure of relative standing. It is calculated by subtracting x minus the mean from the measurement x and then dividing the result by s or sigma. So, ang kaning sigma or s na to, this means standard deviation. Okay? And the final result, the z-score, represents the distance between a given measurement x and the mean expressed in standard deviations. So, ato siya i-tackle by parts, okay? So we have there our formula to get our z-score. Nate formula na para makuha atong z-score, guys. Ay kabala ka. So the areas under the normal curve are given in terms of z-values or scores. Either the z-score locates x within a sample or within a population. And the formula for calculating z is equal to capital X na siya dapat kisa. Capital X minus mu. Kanang mu, that means mean. Ang pasabot na niya kay mean. Okay, mu divided by sigma nga lowercase. So, that is the standard deviation. So, ang x na to is the given measurement, ang mu is the population mean, and ang standard deviation is represented by sigma. Okay? So, that's what we use if we are given a population data. So, what about sa sample data? If sample data ang gihatag, mo ni ang formula para makuha ang z-score. So, this is z is equal to x minus x bar. So, kanang x bar niya is still a sample mean, pero sample mean na siya. Ang difference nila is if population ba siya or sample. Mura na siya, guys. And then, ang S na to is the standard deviation. That is the sample standard deviation. Okay? So, for any population, the mean and the standard deviation are fixed. Thus, the z formula matches the z values 1 to 1 with the x values or the raw scores. So that is for every x value there corresponds a z value, and for each z value there is exactly one x value. So 1 to 1 daw sila. So kung naatay z nga value, naapod tay x nga value, and kung naatay x nga value, naapod tay z nga value. Pero dili pa nato ni siya makuan. Di pa nato ni siya ma-understand as a whole ani karon. So let's proceed pa, no? Sige. So the z values are matched with specific areas under the normal curve in a normal distribution table. So muna siya akong giingon dari, wait lang ha. So muna siya. So let's say for example, natay normal curve diri. Sorry guys. Hiwi kay ko agi. Muna siya normal curve nato siya. So if natay normal curve, ang giingon dari sa slide is the z values are matched with specific areas. So let's say for example, kani siya, this is 0. So each nga z values or x values are matched according sa ilang area. Kung unsa siya nga area, di ara siya na belong. And also, di ara pud ang iyahang probability. Okay? So the z value leads to the area under the curve found in the normal curve table, which is the probability, and that probability gives the desired percentage for x. Okay? So for example, we have there daraon natay kwan diri. So this conversion from raw score to z score is shown graphically. So natay graph diary. So from the diagram, we see that score x is equal to 58 corresponds to z equal to 2, di ba? Ang score na to nga z nga 2 z which is equal to 2 corresponds with 58 as our x, di ba? Our raw score. So this is what I meant sa katong paingon ako nga matched sila. Okay, matched with specific areas under the normal curve. So muna siya ang specific area nga na-cover niya. Therefore, they are matched. Okay? So it is above the mean. Thus, we can say that with respect to the mean, the score of 58 is above average. So mo man ang average. At ang average is at 0. Tara, 0 or 50. So if 50 above, na siya sa above average, di ba? Kaya ang average man nimo is 50 man. So if munaong po kag 50 ana, yung mag-get nga score is um 42, di below average po siya. Okay? So for example 2, we have there locate the z value that corresponds to a PE score of 39 given that mu is equal to 45 and sigma is equal to 6. So ang mu na to is the mean atong sigma is equal to the standard deviation. So since present man ang tulo ka variables, ato ang x, ang ato ang mu ug ato ang sigma, so we can now perform or use the um, z formula. Okay? So sa atong z formula, that will be z is equal to x minus mu divided by sigma. So next is to determine the given. So unsa ato mga given dai diari para hanay na ato pag-substitute. So muna siya 45 sa mu, sa sigma is 6, x is equal to 39, and then next is substitution na dayon. Mo substitute na dayon ka. So now, pag substitute nimo, simplify na lang dayon after, you'll get the z-score which is equal to negative 1. So, the z value that corresponds to the row score 39 is negative 1 in a population distribution. So, unsa may ato ang interpretation ani? So, with respect to the mean, the score 39 is below the population mean. And we can also say that the score 39 is below average. So, as you can see there guys, tantawan ninyo, ang PE score nimo is 39. Kunya naa naman tay mean di ari good nga 45, di ba? Ang mean is just the average, di ba? So if 45 na siya and 39 imong score, therefore ubos gyud sa average, di ba? We can easily determine na gyud nga 39 is below average. Bisan pag wala nato na get ang z-score niya, we can automatically say that 39 is obviously below average. But for this one, we are asked to find or locate the z value man. So, sa z value na to, mo ni siya, z is equal to negative 1, but ang ato ang P score, ma-determine na dato if above average mo siya or below average. Okay. Another example. So, a mathematics score is 74. So, if it is given that mu is equal to 80 and the standard deviation is 6, so what is the corresponding z-score? So, since present atong mu, present atong sigma, and then present ba atong x? Atong x is the raw score by the way guys. Ay mo kalibog kani x is the raw score. It should be the capital X when you write it in the solution, please. Okay? So we are asked for the corresponding z-score. So first we will write the formula, that is z is equal to x minus mu divided by standard deviation, and then sige ni determine kung unsa nga values ang gi-represent sa 80 ug 6 ana. So since kabalo na ka nga inani na ni sila, ang gi-represent sa mu is 80, ang sigma is 6, ang x is 74, you can easily substitute na dayon. Now after substituting the values, you will simplify and then get the final answer, which is the z-score that is equal to negative 1. So the z value that corresponds to the raw score 74 is negative 1 in a population distribution. So this means, okay, kapasabot day ani guys, kapasabot ani day siya nga with respect to the mean, the score 74 is below the population mean, and we can also say that the score is below average. So as you can see there, 74, di ba? Nya na kay mean nga 80. So ano ni sa guys pagsulat ana? Na. So di ari permi gina tunga ang zero. Ang zero ani mo ni siya kaning 80 kay mo man na atong tunga, di ba? Mo man atong tunga. So if nasa sa negative 1 daw, so negative 1 that is 74. So which is below siya sa average. So diri above average na siya dila ang na below di ara dapit. Okay? So questions. Yes, Miss Arya.
Unsaon unsaon pagkabalo if population mean or sample mean ang gipangita ang gamiton nga ano sir? Kaning sa Z-score sir.
Ah, okay. If If population siya, is say for example, ang population nag-matter siya if palitan kani. As you consider, 'di ba, lang tawon nimo PE score, 'di ba? Mathematics score. So na-involve sila persons, 'di ba? Population, 'di ba? Dayon if dili population, it's a sample data. Okay ra? Na-clear lang imong pangutana?
Kuan sir, ang sa sample data sir kay katunang mga data na gyud literal nga
Oo.
data na sir.
Yes,
That's
literal
good.
literal na gyud nga data sa miss.
Thank you sir.
Okay, no problems. Sige, so mo-proceed ta. So kani siya is ang sumpay ni siya sa atong lesson, no? So kani siya ang application na dayon ni siya sa ato ang um, previous nga lesson. So this lesson is called identifying regions of areas under the normal curve. So since katong previous na to nga lesson kay like gakuan pa to siya, determine pa ta kung asa dapit si ano bitaw. Kani siya we will identify na the regions, ang regions na dayon niya. Okay? So the area under the curve is 1, 'di ba? As I've told earlier nga ang area under the curve kani tanan is just equal to 1. Kani siya tanan. Equal ni siya to 1 tanan. So, we can make the correspondence between area and probability. So you have learned in the previous lesson about the normal curve distribution. So in this lesson, you will understand about the z-scores and how to determine the areas under the normal curve. And the z-table provides the proportion of the area or the probability or percentage between any two specific values under the curve. So the regions under the curve can be described in terms of area. So for example, the area of the region between z is equal to 0 and z is equal to 1 is given in the table 0.3413. So as you can see there, 0.3413 man na siya. Given siya sa table. Now, it's a guess ah. It's a guess. Okay. Okay. So you have the example. So the area of the region between z and z equals to 0 and z is equal to 1 is given in the table uh, to be 0.34 uh, 13, di ba? So consider, muna ilang distansya daw sa between 0 and 1, ang ilang distansya is 0.3413. Now, natay kwan dari, so to find the area of the region between z is equal to 1 and z is equal to 2, so given po di ari sa region na to is 0.4772, di ba sa ato ang from 0 up to 2, given daw nga 0.4772. So unsaon na to pag-determine ang distance from 1 up to 2. So ang distansya daw ani nila. Unsay distansya ani nilang duha. So to find the area of the region between z is equal to 1 and z is equal to 2, we will just subtract 0.3413 from 0.4772 resulting in 0.1359. So kani daw ang distansya daw from 1 to 2 is 0.1359. So mura na siya yari. So since kani siya, it is symmetrical man siya. So symmetrical siya from the mean or the center. This would mean nga kung unsay numbers sa left or sa right, ay sa left mo pud sa right dapat. So diari if 0.3413 diri pud sa left part this is also 0.3413. Okay? And also, ang distansya from -1 up to -2 is just equal to 0.1359 because they are they are symmetrical man. Okay? So ana ra. So the regions under the normal curve in terms of percent, the graph of the distribution would look like this. So as you can see earlier guys, akong gikuan din, diri ba kay 0.3413 man ni siya. So percentage man siya. So sa percentage nga form, you'll just simply multiply it by 100. I-multiply ra sa 100 meaning ning duso ra sa duha ka decimal points. So from 34.13 ano 34.3413 nahimo siya 34.13%. So ni move lang kag 2 decimal places. So mo ni siya guys ang ato ang normal distribution. As I've said earlier, the area under the curve is 1. So kani guys, if inyuha ni siyang i-total bitaw, if inyuha ni siyang i-total, this would be equal to 1 ra gyud tanan. Kani 1 ra gyud ni siya tanan. So muna siya ga-represent sa ato ang normal curve. So if duol ta sa average, if duol sa average, ang percentage nga atong makuha nga sa ato ang x or atong z or sa atong z nga score is naadapit sa 34.13 percent. Okay, naara di ara dapit. So this is our Z table. So it is also called the standard normal table. It is a mathematical table that allows us to know the percentage of values below to the left. So a Z-score na standard normal distribution. So as you can see there, lang tao na to ha. Between Z is equal to 0 and Z is equal to 1. So between daw nila, kung sa may between anak nila, so diri dapit oh. Kani nga region diari. Kani diari mo na iya ha. So mo na siya kanang 0.34 di ara. Okay, tara oh. 1 1.0. So that is 3413. And sa 2, as you can see there, di ba 2. Di ba ang 2 na to is 4772 man. Tara mo na 2 man na siya. Tanga ako sa erase ha. Ang distance niya from 0 up to 2 is 4772. So sa table na to, lantaw na to, 4772. There you go. So ano ra na to pag-base ato ang standard normal table. So atong basahin nga text. So entries in the table give the area under the curve between the mean and the z standard deviations above the mean. So for example, if you have uh, z is equal to 1.25, so naka z which is equal to 1.25, so the area under the curve between the mean 0 and z is equal to, so 1.25, so 1.25 ha, dara kani ang 1.25, that is 39.3944, di ba kay 5 then 1.25. So if imo siyang i-draw, inaana na siya, na imo siyang i-draw from 0 na kay 0 diri, ikaw ang 0 diri ha, then 1.25, 1.25 butang na to nga 1.25 ni siya. So mo ni siya ang region nimo, mo ni lang region 1.25. So this means nga it is 39.44. So question? Isa tong ga-ask. Sige.
Constant pa ng given sa table, sir, or na ay instances nga, for example, sa imo exam, sir, kay dili ka nimo imurag ma-answer, sir.
Constant na gini, given gini ang table daan miss.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-mm. Sige. So proceed ta ha. So muna siya itong example. So so find the area that corresponds to z is equal to 1.96. So 1.96. So ato na ding basihan ani sa tuang um standard normal distribution na to, or like atong normal table na to 1.96 ha. So dire 1.9 tatong ilocate 1.9, then 1.6 man 1.96 man, so it is in between 1.96 nara siya sa 1.96 dapit dara. So mo ni siya, ato ang 1.96 which is 0.4750. So dara siya, 0.4750. So ang area daw niya is 47.5%. So wait lang. So erase. So if we have there ang giingon niya is 1.96. So if mo ni ang 1, mo ni ang 2. If giingon ni siya mo ni ang 1, mo ni ang 2. So it is in between 1 and 2, only that it is closer to 2, di ba? Kay 1.96 man. So naa diri 1.96. Naa dira imuhang z square. So since ang area man atong gipangita, so papangita nato sa area, makita nato diari nga muna ang na-cover up niya, which is 47.5%. So 47.5 degrees. Ay no no, percent. So muna siya ang area sa ato ang normal curve. Okay? Next, another example guys. Another example. You have there find the area of the that corresponds to z which is equal to 1.15. So itong area is 1.15 man. So ato na yung pangitaon siya sa tuwang z nga table. So if we have the our z score is 1.15, based din ta sa tong z table. So 1.15, so 1.1, 1.1 taman 1.5, di ba? 1.15. So that is 0.3749. O dara, 3749. So that is the area under the normal distribution. So na i-write nimo siya ang curve nimo. You will write your curve. Sige. So ang kuan na. To i-crop, mag-draw ta balik. So mo siya i-write. Na. So naka normal curve dira, zero ni siya. So zero gyud na permitin na sa tunga ha kay that is the mean. Okay? So since 1.15 man, so abante lang kag 1 diri dapit, 1. Muna siyang 1 na to, 1.15 man. 1.15. So 1.15. Dari dapit. Kaning red nako. Kaning red na. So mo na siya. So imo na din siyang i-shade. Kay mo man ni imuhang area sa imuhang normal curve. Okay? So that is 37.49. So 37.49%. So mo ni siya ang na-consume nimo sa overall nga standard sa standard normal curve nimo. Okay? So next. Wait lang guys ha. Okay. So let me ask you this. I don't know. Wala pa rin. Ako sa siya i-connect guys ha. So kani siya, ang pulos ani niya, karon nga topic is to apply what we have learned from our previous lesson. Kaya atong previous lesson states nga, atong previous lesson is to find the z-scores. Di ba? Ang first na to lesson is to find the z-scores. But now, sa atong present nga lesson is if when you have na your z-scores, you can now find the area sa atong normal curve. Okay? So, ana ra. So, pwede na nato siya magamit. And then, um, mag-ask ko questions for 20 points kasi ganahan dirag point. Kung kinsa mag-answer ani z is equal to let's say 0.56. Raise your hands lang guys. Amo kabalaka. Anybody? Wala, kinsa. Tingnan mo answer dira. Anyone? Sige, Miss Gamutin.
Dili na siya magbase sa standard normal table, sir.
Yes, Miss. Yara ta magbase sa standard normal table.
Ano, sir?
Atong
Point
0.56 is, unsa?
point two one two three.
Point two one
Two
two three.
one two three.
Very good. That is point two one two
Two
three.
three.
Mm. Or if i-percent nimo siya nga form, unsa siya if percent nga form?
21.23%.
Very good. 21.23%. Sige. Thank you, Miss Gamutin. Next. Kinsa pa ilain? Miss Sandalo.
Sa 1.72, sir,
Oo,
kay
sige.
0.4564, sir. Ay, no, 0.4573 days, sir.
Very good. So, dara ra. Ana ra. Dara mo base ana. So, that is, ito, 45, 73. Di ba? So, unsa ni siya, Miss, if i-percent nga form?
45.73% po.
Very good, Miss. Thank you. Sige, last na lang ni. Last na lang ni. Termine na to ang 0.31. 3.1 day. Anyone answer? Sige, Miss Dazzle.
Kuan, sir. 0.11217, sir.
3.1. That is 3.1. Sige, lahi sa misa, si Miss Agundo.
Kuan sir kanang 0.4990.
Very good. Dari ra. Dari ta mag-base sa 0 na. Kay wala na may lain. 3.1 raman na. Wa makagayon og 3.12. Wa kagayon og 3.11. That is just plain 3.1. So, your answer will be 0.4990. So, unsa ni siya if percent nga style, Miss? Ay, percent nga form?
Kuan sir 49.90%.
49, ay wait lang. Mali siya. 49.90%. Okay. So, thank you kayo no sa mga nag-participate. So, if na may questions sa may questions na to, na may questions? Questions, guys. Klaro ra? Yes, Miss Dazzle? Question. Miss Mag-aso?
Sir, kanang mag-upload ra kag video lecture ani, sir.
Oo, kani mismo ato ang gi-klase karon ako ning i-upload. Recorded naman ni siya.
Mag-upload ra kag video lecture, sir, ani, nga lesson.
Oo, mag-upload ko. Okay, Mr. John Lawrence.
Ay, sir, pwede mo mangayoan ng mong PowerPoint presentation,
Oo,
sir?
i-appel na ko ni sa Janyo lang ninyo basihi ha. I-upload na ko ni appel ang video ug ang ano, ang recorded discussion, guys.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sige, so if wala na tay questions, guys, pwede na ta mo leave.